It rarely starts with fireworks. More often, hope arrives like a soft tap on the shoulder in a fluorescent hallway, a lab result pending, a job application unseen, a quiet kitchen after midnight while the bills arrange themselves into a small, patient mountain. The world has not changed. Your calendar still crowds you, and yet something in you loosens its grip on doom and shifts a few degrees toward possible. Not certain, not easy, possible. People confuse hope with glitter. The science is plainer and sturdier. Optimism is an expectation that things can work out. Hope is the sense that there is a route you might take to help them do so. The difference is small in a sentence and enormous at 3 in the morning. Optimism is the light, hope is the map. You can feel both at once or one without the other. The mind that has both doesn't just feel better, it searches better. Inside your head, a prediction machine is always humming. It weighs odds, scans patterns, and asks what's worth your next unit of effort. When the machine tips too far toward futility, it becomes stingy with energy. Why start what will fail? Why rehearse a conversation that ends badly? You know this voice. It sounds like protection, and sometimes it is. But left unchecked, it confuses "this is hard" with "this is impossible." And it forgets that effort changes the odds, even slightly. And that slightly is how most lives turn. There is a small orchestra behind hope. One section monitors outcomes, the part of you that notices when a tiny move nudges reality in your favor. Another section cares about paths, sketching unseen options on the edge of your attention. A third section holds the steering wheel, deciding where to spend effort today. When people talk about being wired differently, hope is one of the places that wiring shows. Some brains are quick to spot roots. Others are quick to spot cliffs. Most of us carry a mix, with a landscape shaped by childhood explanations and adult disappointments. The fascinating part is that explanations can be edited, and the orchestra learns new songs. Consider the story of a bus route through a city that rains too often. On Monday, the bus is late, and the mind offers a harsh, global headline: "Always late, this city never works." On Tuesday, the same bus is late, and the mind tries a narrower caption: "This route is a mess after storms." The event didn't change. The explanation did, and with it the next choices. In the global story, you stew and arrive defeated. In the narrower story, you leave 10 minutes earlier on rainy days or pick another line. You did not manifest sunshine. You drew a smaller box around the problem, and the box had a door. A hopeful mind is not one that denies risk. It is one that argues honestly with catastrophe. It talks in specifics instead of absolutes, in time limits instead of forever. When hopeful people fail, they say, "This didn't work here, now, in this way." And they keep something of themselves intact for another try. When they succeed, they let themselves say so out loud, because the prediction machine needs data. Quiet wins, recorded, become a private weather pattern your brain can trust. There is also the chemistry of maybe. You've felt it. The moment a situation shifts from no chance to there might be a way, your body changes temperature. It sits up a little. It leans toward the page. This is not delusion. It is your nervous system reallocating resources to search mode. You will look for doors you ignored yesterday. You will find one or two. The doors were there the whole time. The budget for looking wasn't. Watch how hope behaves in ordinary rooms. In a clinic waiting room, a man rehearses bad news so thoroughly that he forgets to listen for nuance when the doctor speaks. Beside him, a woman has practiced a different script. Not, "It will be fine," but, "Whatever it is, I can handle hearing it, and I will ask one good question." The same hallway, two nervous systems, two kinds of preparation. One floods in a story of inevitable doom. The other builds a shelf to hold whatever arrives. Neither one controls the diagnosis. Only one preserves bandwidth for action. Or take the kitchen table where a student spreads notes like small islands. In one version of the story, the subject is impossible, and the hours are too few. In another version, the subject is difficult, the islands are grouped, and the hours, while still too few, are arranged so that a tide can run between them. The second story is not happy talk. It is cartography. A map does not make mountains smaller, but it does show the passes. There is also the matter of yet, a tiny hinge word that has rescued more afternoons than it gets credit for. "I can't solve it" is a brick wall. "I can't solve it yet" is a door you haven't found. The difference is not only semantic. The brain routes attention differently when the future is left open by even 1 degree. Yet keeps your searchlights on. Hope is quiet about odds and loud about direction. The loudest hope is not the cheerleader at the pep rally. It is the nurse who lays a hand on a forearm and says, "This will be hard, and we'll walk it." The honest momentum in that sentence is measurable. The body steadies, the mind narrows, the next question forms. Optimism without honesty feels like sugar. It spikes and crashes. Hope with honesty tastes like bread. It sustains. Of course, there is such a thing as false hope. A helium balloon tied to nothing. You hear it when someone insists that odds don't apply to them, or that grief can be outrun by positivity. Real hope makes room for grief. It allows full weight to land before it asks what can still be carried. It does not confuse pain with failure. It knows that some realities do not change because we wish them to. In those rooms, the map is different. The path is through, not around. If you look at communities that keep going through long winters, literal or otherwise, you'll notice rituals that ration and renew hope. There are ways of speaking that protect dignity. People say, "This part went badly, and here is the slice we can fix," not, "Everything is ruined." There are small celebrations of progress, not as smugness, but as orientation. See, the path still heads this way. There are objects that gather meaning. A lamp, a bench, a worn step on the stairs. Not because they hold magic, but because they remind the mind where the story continues. To an outsider, those objects look sentimental. To the nervous system, they are cues that reduce decision fatigue. We meet here, we keep going. Some of the strongest hope you'll ever witness wears work clothes. It is the gardener who comes out after a storm, looks at the mess, and says the four most realistic words in the language. Start where you are. It is the coder who returns to a brutal bug and leaves a note to future self in plain, patient English. It is the parent who, late, tired, or both, chooses one small kindness to protect the morning from the night. None of these scenes would trend. All of them change the future in increments that compound. When hope gets called naive, it is usually because someone has only seen its costume, the bright slogans, the poster sunrises, the promise that everything happens for a reason. But hope's truest face is pragmatic. It inventories resources. It tells the truth about constraints. It shaves the problem until a human-sized handle appears and then lifts there. It is sober about what can't be moved and relentless about what can. If you have ever kept going for one more week, you have used the toolkit without naming it. You drew smaller boxes around problems. You let yourself notice a win. You talked to yourself in time-limited sentences. You left space for yet. You did not accuse yourself of weakness for being sad. You did not demand certainty before taking a step. You looked for doors, and you didn't insist they be pretty. Someday, someone will ask you how you stayed hopeful when the forecasts were unkind. You may feel the urge to invent a larger story. Resist it. Tell the small one. Say you changed the way you explained setbacks to yourself. Say you allowed help to count as strength. Say you made room for grief and for the next thing in the same room. Say you learned that optimism is not a smile but a stance, and hope is not a feeling but a direction of travel. And if you have no hope today, if the hallway is too long and the light at the end too dim, let the science offer a plain mercy. The prediction machine can learn from borrowed evidence. Sit near someone whose map is still unfolded. Listen to a voice that tells narrower stories. Let a steadier nervous system lend yours a rhythm. This is not dependence, it is calibration. We steady each other. One morning, sooner than your fear believes, you will notice that your mind is scanning for roots again, not because everything became easy, but because you did not let impossible close the case. The calendar will still be crowded. The bill will still be there. The lab result may be what you wanted or something else entirely. And still, you will be moving, not blindly, not giddily, but with a practiced, grounded optimism that leaves room for the whole truth and then asks, with a steady voice, the next useful question.